Long ago, in the heart of Africa, nestled between rolling hills and vast savannas, lay the village of Zuwena. It was a place of beauty and mystery where the land was lush and fertile, and the wildlife roamed freely under the watchful eyes of the elders. The village was small, yet it was rich in tradition and culture, with a deep connection to the natural world. At the center of this village was the Enchanted River of Zuwena, a river that was said to be as old as the earth itself. The river's waters were clear and pure, flowing gently through the village, providing life and sustenance to all who lived there. But the river was more than just a source of water. It was a symbol of the village's prosperity and a link to the spiritual world. The villagers believed that the river was home to ancient spirits who protected them, ensuring peace and harmony in their lives. For generations, the elders of Zuwena had told tales of the river's magic, of how it would grant wisdom to those who were pure of heart and test the courage of those who sought its secrets. The villagers revered the river and treated it with the utmost respect, knowing that it held the power to bring both blessings and challenges. This is the story of two childhood friends, Jabari and Amani, who grew up in the village of Zuwena. Their journey would take them on a path of self-discovery, testing their friendship, courage, and the depth of their bond. It is a tale of love, sacrifice, and the true power of the human spirit. Jabari and Amani were born on the same day, under the light of a full moon, a sign that their lives would be forever intertwined. From the moment they could walk, they were inseparable, exploring the village and its surrounding wilderness together. The villagers often remarked that they were like two halves of the same soul. Jabari with his adventurous spirit and Amani with his gentle and thoughtful nature. Their days were filled with joy and wonder as they roamed the forests, played in the fields, and swam in the cool, refreshing waters of the Enchanted River. They loved to sit by the riverbank, listening to the soothing sounds of the water as it flowed over smooth stones. The river was their sanctuary, a place where they could dream and imagine the future that lay ahead. As they grew older, Jabari's curiosity led him to seek out the wisdom of the elders. He would sit for hours at the feet of Mama Nia, the village elder, who was known for her deep knowledge of the land and its spirits. Mama Nia would tell him stories of the river's power, of how it could heal the sick, reveal hidden truths, and even test the hearts of those who sought its favor. Amani, on the other hand, was drawn to the beauty of nature. He spent his days learning the ways of the animals, observing how they lived in harmony with the land. He was particularly fond of the river's inhabitants, the fish that darted through the water, the birds that nested in the reeds, and the small creatures that scurried along the riverbank. Amani believed that the river was alive, that it had a spirit of its own, and he treated it with the utmost reverence. The bond between Jabari and Amani was strong, and it only grew stronger with time. They shared their hopes and dreams, their fears and uncertainties, and they always knew that no matter what happened, they would face it together. One fateful night, as the full moon cast its silvery light over the village of Zuwena, the villagers gathered by the river for an important ceremony. It was a night of celebration, but also one of reverence, as Mama Nia had announced that she had received a message from the spirits of the river. The villagers assembled in a circle, their faces illuminated by the flickering flames of the torches they held. Mama Nia stood at the center, her eyes closed as she communed with the spirits. The air was thick with anticipation as everyone waited for her to speak. Finally, Mama Nia opened her eyes and addressed the villagers in a voice that was both gentle and commanding. "The spirits of the river have spoken," she said. "They have revealed a prophecy that concerns the future of our village. A great challenge is coming, one that will test the strength and unity of Zuwena. The peace we have known will be threatened, and only those with pure hearts and strong spirits will be able to save our home." The villagers exchanged worried glances, but Mama Nia continued. "The spirits have also revealed that two young men will be called upon to face the trials of the river. These young men will need to rely on their bond and their love for this land to overcome the challenges that lie ahead." As she spoke, Jabari and Amani felt a shiver run down their spines. Though Mama Nia had not mentioned any names, they both knew in their hearts that the prophecy was about them. The realization filled them with a mix of fear and excitement, for they had always felt a deep connection to the river and the spirits that dwelled within it. Mama Nia's words lingered in the air long after the ceremony had ended, and the villagers returned to their homes with heavy hearts. Jabari and Amani, however, could not shake the feeling that their lives were about to change forever. In the days that followed, the village of Zuwena was struck by an unprecedented drought. The once lush fields began to wither, the crops failed, and the enchanted river, the lifeblood of the village, began to dry up. The villagers were filled with despair as they watched the water levels drop, and they prayed to the spirits for guidance. Jabari and Amani felt a deep sense of responsibility, knowing that the prophecy was coming true. They could see the worry in the eyes of their families and neighbors, and they knew that something had to be done. But what could they do? They were just two young men, and the challenge before them seemed insurmountable. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the village in a warm golden light, Jabari and Amani decided to visit Mama Nia. They found her sitting by the riverbank, her gaze fixed on the dwindling waters. The air was thick with the scent of dry earth, and the river's gentle flow had become a mere trickle. "Mama Nia," Jabari said softly as they approached, "we believe the prophecy is about us. What must we do to save our village?" Mama Nia turned to them, her wise eyes filled with both sorrow and hope. "The spirits have tested us, and now they call upon you to restore the balance." The tension between them grew as they debated their options. Jabari was frustrated by what he saw as Amani's reluctance, while Amani was worried about Jabari's impulsiveness. The spirits seemed to feed on their discord, and the river's current grew stronger, as if challenging them to overcome their differences. In the midst of their argument, Amani took a deep breath and looked Jabari in the eyes. "We've always faced challenges together," he said softly. "Let's not let this river come between us. We need to trust each other and work together to find a way across." Jabari, moved by Amani's words, realized that their strength lay in their unity. He took Amani's hand and nodded. "You're right. We'll find a way together." With renewed determination, they searched the riverbank for a solution. They discovered a series of large boulders that formed a natural bridge across the river. Using the boulders as stepping stones, they carefully made their way across the raging waters, their hearts pounding with every step. The spirits seemed to watch in silent approval as they reached the other side, soaked but unharmed. As they continued their journey, the forest grew darker and more ominous. The once familiar sounds of nature were replaced by eerie whispers and unsettling noises. The trees seemed to close in around them, and the mist grew thicker, obscuring their path. The second trial was a test of the heart. The spirits of the river conjured illusions of their deepest fears and regrets, making it difficult to distinguish between reality and fantasy. Jabari saw visions of his family in distress, their faces etched with worry and sadness. He felt a deep sense of guilt, as if he had failed them by leaving the village. Amani, too, was haunted by illusions. He saw visions of Jabari in danger, and the thought of losing his closest friend filled him with despair. The illusions were so vivid and real that they began to erode their resolve, and the two friends found themselves questioning their purpose. In their darkest moments, Amani remembered the sacred herbs Mama Nia had given them. He took out the pouches and scattered the herbs around them, creating a protective circle. The illusions began to fade, and the forest seemed to lighten as the spirits' grip on their minds weakened. Jabari, realizing that their fears were merely illusions, took a deep breath and focused on the love he had for his village, his family, and Amani. He reminded himself that they were on this journey together, and that their bond was stronger than any illusion. With their hearts renewed and their spirits lifted, they continued their journey through the forest. The mist began to clear, and the path ahead grew brighter, leading them closer to the source of the river. After what seemed like an eternity, Jabari and Amani arrived at the source of the Enchanted River. The area was surrounded by ancient trees, their gnarled roots intertwined with the rocks, and the air was filled with a sense of awe and reverence. In the center of a pristine spring stood the spirit of Zuwena, a figure of ethereal beauty shimmering in the moonlight. The spirit was both majestic and gentle, with a presence that seemed to embody the very essence of the river. It looked at Jabari and Amani with eyes that held the wisdom of ages, and its voice echoed like the wind through the trees. "You have come far and faced great trial," the spirit said, "but there is one final test you must endure. Only then will you be able to restore the river's life force and save your village." The spirit gestured to the spring, and a vision appeared within the water. It showed the village of Zuwena, but it was now desolate and barren. The once lush fields were dry and cracked, and the villagers were struggling to survive. The sight of their home in such a state was heart-wrenching, and Jabari and Amani felt a pang of sorrow. The river's life force has been drained by the darkness that has spread through the land, the spirit explained. To restore it, one of you must remain here and become the guardian of the river, ensuring that its waters flow freely for all eternity. Jabari and Amani were stunned. They had anticipated challenges and dangers, but they had not expected to be faced with a choice that would separate them forever. The weight of the decision was almost too much to bear. Jabari, always the protector, was ready to offer himself, but Amani, with tears in his eyes, spoke first. Jabari, you have the strength and the courage to protect our village. I am at peace with the river. I will stay and fulfill this role. Jabari's heart ached at the thought of losing Amani, but he was determined not to let his friend make such a sacrifice alone. No, Amani, he said firmly. We face this challenge together. We are bound by our friendship, and I cannot bear the thought of leaving you here. The two friends argued passionately, each trying to protect the other. The spirit of the river watched in silence, its gaze filled with compassion. Finally, it spoke gently. The choice must come from love, not from duty. Only then will the river be restored. Jabari and Amani fell silent, their hearts heavy with the weight of the spirit's words. They realized that their love for each other and for their village was the key to restoring the river's life force. They knelt by the spring, side by side, and made a vow to protect the river together, as they had always done. The spirit, moved by their selflessness and unity, smiled warmly. Your bond has restored the balance, it said. The river will flow once more. As the spirit's words faded, the spring began to bubble with life. The water, now crystal clear and filled with energy, surged down the mountainside, rejuvenating the river and bringing life back to the land. The once dry fields began to green, and the village of Zuwena was soon flourishing once more. Jabari and Amani watched as the river flowed with renewed vigor, carrying their love and dedication to their home. They knew that their bond would never be broken, no matter where life took them. When they returned to the village, they were met with joyous celebrations. The villagers rejoiced and welcomed them back as heroes, their hearts filled with gratitude and relief. Mama Nia, with tears of pride in her eyes, blessed them for their bravery and selflessness. The story of Jabari and Amani became a cherished legend, passed down through the generations as a reminder of the power of friendship, love, and sacrifice. The river continued to flow, its waters shimmering with a gentle light that symbolized the spirit's watchful presence. As night fell over the village of Zuwena, the people gathered by the river to hear the story of Jabari and Amani, told by the firelight. The tale was a source of comfort and inspiration, reminding them that even in the darkest times, love and unity would always prevail. Jabari and Amani, though separated by their roles, remained bound by their shared experiences and the deep bond of their friendship. The Enchanted River of Zuwena continued to flow, carrying with it the memories of those who had come before and the hope for future generations. And so, dear listener, as you drift off to sleep, may the story of the Enchanted River of Zuwena bring you peace and comfort. Remember that the spirits of the land are always with us, guiding and protecting us, and that the strength of our hearts and the bonds we share can overcome any challenge. The river flows on, a testament to the enduring power of love and friendship.